Welcome to this explainer. Picture this for a second. It's late at night, your teenager is sitting at the kitchen table, just staring down this incredibly difficult algebra problem. They finally sigh, type the equation into an AI chatbot, and literally within seconds, the screen fills with the perfect, correct solution. Now, your kid looks relieved, right? But as you look a little closer, you notice they also look kind of confused. They're staring at the answer, but they don't actually understand how they got there. Well, we are exploring this exact scenario today. We're going to unpack the completely new reality of artificial intelligence at the kitchen table and how you can navigate it together. Because it really is the ultimate modern parenting dilemma, isn't it? We're all trying to figure out where legitimate, helpful tutoring ends and where cheating actually begins when our middle or high schoolers fire up an AI bot for their homework. Is it genuinely a tutor, or is it just a shortcut that completely bypasses the messy, beautiful process of actual learning? To find that answer, here's our agenda for today. 1. The AI homework dilemma. 2. The trap of cognitive offloading. 3. The power of guardrails. 4. Building crucial AI skills. And 5. The parent action plan. All right, Section 1. The AI homework dilemma. Let's just dive right in and look at what actually happens when students are left completely to their own devices with standard, unfiltered AI tools. A recent RAND report brilliantly frames the core conflict of this new era. It basically comes down to two concepts: cognitive offloading versus cognitive augmentation. Are students using AI to do the mental heavy lifting for them, essentially offloading the work of thinking? Or are they using it for cognitive augmentation, to spur deeper, more robust, and more complex thought? The difference between the two is quite literally the difference between a student who just copies an answer and a student who learns an entirely new way to solve a problem. So, Section 2. The trap of cognitive offloading. Let's look at the research to see this very real trap in action and see exactly why it's weakening our kids' learning muscles. Check this out. A fascinating University of Pennsylvania study looked at students using standard ChatGPT for math homework. The researchers found that these students performed significantly better on their homework assignments than students who didn't use the AI. But here is the massive catch. They actually did worse later on their exams. Why? Because they just asked the AI for the answers instead of trying to solve the problems themselves. They created this total illusion of competence, but completely failed to build durable, long-lasting problem-solving skills. And we see this exact same thing echoed in a behavioral study of French middle schoolers conducting science investigations. The study showed that young students often lack the necessary metacognitive skills, the ability to think about their own thinking, to question bad AI answers. They struggled to formulate clear questions, they readily accepted confident-sounding but completely inaccurate information, and the result? A super vague, incomplete understanding of the science. Left on their own, they just over-relied on the AI to do the work. Moving on to Section 3, the power of guardrails. Now here is the turning point and honestly the truly hopeful part of the data. I want you to picture a caring middle school math teacher walking through a bright classroom, kneeling beside students, asking probing questions and encouraging discussion. The technology itself is not the enemy here. It's all about how it's designed and guided, much like that caring teacher. To prove this, researchers conducted a massive field experiment in a Turkish high school to see if giving the AI pedagogical guardrails could actually protect and even enhance student learning. They compared a standard, OpenAI, which they called GPT Base, against a custom-designed GPT Tutor that was explicitly programmed with specific teaching strategies. And this comparison brilliantly illustrates the difference. With the standard AI, the student asks for the answer, and boom, the bot simply gives it away. But the GPT Tutor was programmed with guardrails. It actively withheld the solution. Instead, it gave hints. It pushed the student to explain where they were stuck. It forced them to draw diagrams in their minds, make mistakes, erase their mental whiteboards, and try again. And the crucial point is the result. Get this, a 127% performance improvement. Students using the safeguarded GPT Tutor saw massive gains during practice, and far more importantly, they maintained those skills afterward. Why? Because the AI facilitated what educators call a productive struggle. It didn't do the work for them, it helped them do the work themselves. Section 4, building crucial AI skills. Okay, so knowing that guardrails work so incredibly well, how do we build those necessary skills at home, especially when they aren't using specialized educational software? The Dallas Independent School District provides a really fantastic framework for families. It shows how parental involvement should smoothly evolve as your child grows. So for elementary students, the focus is curiosity and safety, using AI together almost like you're reading a book side by side. In middle school, it shifts to critical evaluation, treating AI as a helper, but actively checking to see if its answers are actually right. And by high school, the focus moves to independence and academic integrity, talking about how this technology will actually be used in their future careers. By tailoring our conversations to their age, we can guide them so much more effectively. This guide also highlights some absolutely crucial digital literacy skills. We've got to help our teens navigate privacy issues. We need to teach them to recognize what's called an AI hallucination, which is when the AI confidently just invents completely false information. And we really must instill the understanding that their personal data should never, ever be entered into public AI tools. Which brings us to Section 5, the Parent Action Plan. Let's turn all of these academic insights into a practical, empowering action plan you can use in your living room tonight. Here is your 3-step plan. Number 1, get clear on your school's specific AI policy so you can support it at home. Knowing the rules up front prevents so much confusion. Number 2, deliberately reframe the AI to your teen as a digital tutor that should be asking them questions rather than a service that just hands over a finished essay. And number 3, implement a highly effective strategy called the Teach It Back to Me test. Let's zoom in on that last one, because it's arguably your best tool. If your child cannot confidently explain their essay's main argument, or walk you through a difficult algebra concept in their own words without staring at a glowing screen, well, that's a massive red flag. It tells you that the AI probably did way too much of the heavy lifting. The learning should be locked in their head, not just saved on their hard drive. Because ultimately, the research shows that maintaining a strong human connection is absolutely vital. Encouraging collaboration with peers, celebrating small breakthroughs together, and fostering an open, curious dialogue with you at home, those are the absolute best ways to protect your child. It guards against the loneliness and the skill atrophy that comes from just completely over-relying on an AI. I love this quote from the Educate Empower Kids guide. It really sums it up perfectly. AI is just a tool. It's just floating equations and digital interfaces. But your parental guidance, your warmth, and your curiosity, those are the ultimate safeguards for your child's developing mind. So, I want to leave you with this thought. How can you sit down with your teen tonight to create a collaborative family AI agreement, one that embraces this incredible technology with a real sense of wonder while keeping their independent thinking firmly in the driver's seat? Because at the end of the day, we want our students confidently solving problems independently, raising their hands in class, and leaving school feeling incredibly proud of their own minds. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.